thank you very much. And I want to thank the representative from the 8th and the 79th for their comments, as well as the representative from the 2nd. Wonderful to see us all working together on something, almost all of us working together. I want to start by pointing out about who authored, or who asked me to author this bill. The Jewish Federation of Madison and Milwaukee are the ones that came to me and wanted my help, and that's how I got involved. Another group called Combat Anti-Semitism Movement, they are here as well today in support of this bill. The American Jewish Committee is also in support and asking for this bill. So when people say that there isn't, unanimous agreement among every Jewish person, I mean, they're really kind of being, picky about that. This is as supported as anything ever really gets. Now, on October 7th, 2023, 1,000 Hamas terrorists and 10,000 civilians operating out of Gaza using Iranian money enacted Operation Al-Aqsa Flood. It was a coordinated attack that overthrew Israel's 150 soldiers at the Gaza checkpoints and attacked the surrounding towns. They didn't do it for military advantage. They did it to kill Jews. Hamas set a 1 p.m. curfew to run back to Gaza before Israel could defend itself. They killed 1,200 Jews, and they took 250 Jews hostage. After the October 7th attack, you would think Americans would have had a great deal of sympathy and love for the victims. And most Americans did. But anti-Semitism doubled in America since, and it's increasing every year. Think about that. In response to murdering and abducting Jewish people, the hate for the Jewish people doubled in America, and it's still increasing. That is sad, and that is embarrassing. When Muslims attacked New York City in 2001, the whole world mourned for us. Every country acted as if their country had been attacked too. Remember how that felt. Remember how their love and sympathy mattered to you at that time, to know that they felt bad that this had happened, and they addressed it and agreed that it was wrong. In America, we should have done the same thing for Israel. And some failed to mourn the murdered. They've picked on Jewish people in Milwaukee. They have camped in their yards. They have drawn swastikas on their synagogues. They've made fun of how people looked. They've made fun of their religion. No one felt worse about that hate in Milwaukee than Jonathan Brostoff. That's why he wanted this simple definition bill. And that's why it is so important that his immediate successor, the representative from the 19th, support Jonathan and vote for Jonathan's bill. This is a definition bill. It does not create a new crime. Governor Evers specifically was concerned about that and asked us to look at an amendment, and that's what the amendment is regarding, is make abundantly clear that a new crime is not being created. This is a definition bill. In Wisconsin, we define all kinds of things. We define what a school bus is. We define what butter is. We define what an African American is. You can look it up, Wisconsin Statute 250.20. We define what economically disadvantaged means. Is it really that big of a deal for us to have a definition on what anti-Semitism is? And this isn't political. Yes, Trump had this definition, but you know who also adopted it? Joe Biden. Joe Biden and Trump have used this. It's been both Trump's first and Biden, and now Trump again, have continued to use this same definition. 37 other states in the United States already have this definition. And 30 countries do too. The International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, when you hear IHRA, that's what we're talking about. They created this definition many, many years ago. And permission to read the definition from a printed document?
Without objection.
Thank you. This is the definition we're talking about, so you know what you're voting for. Anti-Semitism is a certain perception of Jews, which may be expressed as hatred toward Jews. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed toward the Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property, toward Jewish community, institutions, and religious facilities. That's the definition we're talking about. Now, the definition includes a couple of examples. If you deny the Holocaust and deny that it ever happened, and you deny that the National Socialists of Germany were behind the Holocaust, then that act is anti-Semitic. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to be charged with that. You haven't committed a crime, but by definition in Wisconsin law, if we pass this and Governor Evers signs it, you will have, by definition, been anti-Semitic. Now, if you've called for the aiding, the justifying, or killing Jews in the name of some radical ideology, that is within this definition as anti-Semitic. If you accuse the Jews of being more loyal to Israel than their own country, that is anti-Semitic. If you accuse the local Jews of being responsible for the actions of the state of Israel or Benjamin Netanyahu, that act by this definition would be anti-Semitic. Now, this is a really important example of what is not anti-Semitic. Criticizing the state of Israel, criticizing Benjamin Netanyahu, or criticizing Israel's military choices. All three of those things are not anti-Semitic by this definition. So you can do that all you want. Nobody's going to call you anti-Semitic. So, things sometimes cut both ways. You can define it, but you're also defining what isn't anti-Semitic. And now the folks that do want to criticize Israel or Benjamin Netanyahu or whatever, they have the ability to do that without the fear of being called anti-Semitic. There's value in that, value that I think some people are missing. Now, before I go on, I just want to be really clear about this amendment that we did. The amendment intent of the legislative intent of our amendment has the word additional in it. That word in this amendment means that this bill doesn't create any new or civil criminal penalties. That's what we're trying to do. However, the definition can be used in determining if an existing civil and criminal penalty or a school and university anti-discrimination policy has been violated by anti-Semitism. Now, we've already heard the opponents try to say that there aren't a consensus amongst the Jewish people. I'm not sure how we can do any better than having all of the Jewish organizations behind this asking for us to do this. And, the folks that are Jewish, that are in our body, agreeing to it. So, I'd like you to look at your green button. If you believe that it is a bad thing that anti-Semitism is rising in America, and you want to be able to distinguish what is and what is not anti-Semitism, that green button is for you.